Inflation is the increase in prices of goods or services over time. Dan just got paid and needs to buy groceries. Dan heads to the grocery store and loads up his cart with the items that he needs. These items cost Dan a total of $100. A year later, Dan returns to the grocery store with $100 to purchase the same items. However, now the same items cost $105 and Dan is forced to remove an item from his cart. Dan has experienced the effects of a 5% inflation rate. Dan must pay $5 extra to purchase the same items that cost $100 only a year ago. Inflation leads to higher prices and lower purchasing power. It's usually a monetary phenomenon caused by a country printing more money than is justified by the country's wealth. When more dollars are issued for a limited amount of assets, the value of each dollar is decreased. Many countries' central banks set an inflation rate target of 2 to 3% per year.
Hello everybody. Today I want to talk a little bit about inflation, and it's important to understand what inflation is and how it works because it affects what you do and it affects your savings, and it's like the current flowing in a stream against you as you're trying to make financial progress in life. It's the current that flows against you and holds you back. One of the tragic things about that current, about inflation, is the fact that it's government created. It's created by the shenanigans of our monetary policy, which means the manipulations of the money supply by the Federal Reserve.
Vilnius market is struggling. Once, these shoppers wouldn't have thought twice about their weekly shop, but not anymore. With prices rocketing, this pensioners' shopping basket is getting lighter and lighter.
I used to buy all sorts of berries, but now I have to choose. I also used to buy some to make jam for the winter, but not anymore. My whole life has changed. But, well, we pensioners have to carry on.
The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization will hold an emergency meeting to discuss rising global food prices on Friday. Rising grain, meat, and sugar prices pose a threat to nearly 1 billion people who are undernourished. The FAO estimates that 925 million people are currently undernourished, a decline from more than 1 billion in 2009, but still higher than before the economic crisis of 2008-2009. In Egypt, many are learning to go without. In downtown Cairo vegetable markets, residents complain that core parts of their diet are fast becoming luxury items.
It is very expensive. I'm only buying what I need. Just 1 kilo of cucumber or tomatoes. A kilo of meat costs 70 pounds, and 20 or 22 pounds for chicken. And a kilo of rotten tomatoes costs 5 pounds, while a good one costs 6 pounds. So we eat cucumber and cheese.
In Russia, the price of buckwheat has more than tripled since the summer drought and poor harvest, and wheat exports have been banned until late 2011. In some shops, buckwheat is no longer for sale, as supplies have been bought up by panicked shoppers. A 26-year-old housewife and mother of a new baby explained that giving up buckwheat would not be easy.
My husband likes buckwheat. I like buckwheat. I'm actually used to eating it often since my childhood.
But despite some pockets of instability and violent food riots in many countries, the FAO has said the latest bout of price rises has not brought markets closer to a repeat of the 2007-2008 price-induced food crisis. Those meeting on Friday will hope to ensure there won't be a repeat of 2008, when food riots took place in more than 30 countries.
Latest flash, Kingston, New York, dated yesterday, the greatest depression that the Trends Research Institute forecast well before Wall Street or Washington would acknowledge recession is upon us. Give us a couple sentences on that, Gerald.
Well, current events form future trends. This is a global market meltdown. The financial systems worldwide are collapsing.
Sure.
It's in front of us each day. Lithuania, Latvia, Romania, Bulgaria, you name it, Hungary, Ukraine, they're gone. They're underwater. Ireland, Spain. There's a global financial meltdown. The UK and the US. Let's just take a look at what's happened in the last couple of days. The markets of the developed nations went down some 4 or 5% in one day in the underdeveloped nations. In the U.S. now, our Dow is below 1997 levels. Who no one was talking about Dow 6,700.
Yeah.
And so, this is the proof is in front of us. Washington cannot come up with a solution. No one can. They're doing it worldwide. They're throwing good money after bad to bail out failing financial institutions. The game is over. And anyone that doesn't see it is living in delusion, or they're hopeful that, the investments they've made, they're somehow going to recoup. So it's a willful delusion.
Well, Gerald, also it seems like investors are selling stocks, just as Federal Reserve Chairman Mr. Bernanke is telling Congress economic recovery depends on the government's ability to stabilize weak financial markets. Sounds like Mr. Market isn't buying any of this.
No, they're not. The global markets, every time, by the way, we heard the new Treasury Secretary Geithner come out with his plan that was a no plan, the market went down 4%. President Obama announced the stimulus plan, the market went down 3%. President Obama gave his address to Congress, the market crashed against him, 300 points. On and on and on, day after day, scandal after scandal. We are moving, Tom, into the greatest depression. The world will have never seen what it's going to be like in front of us. It will be much worse than the Great Depression. And people better get real about this because, as a Bronx boy originally, my saying is, when people lose everything and they have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And people are going to start to lose it. And they're going to start taking measures that are going to be very, very drastic in trying to save what they have. And that means there's going to be a lot of crime and a lot of violence that we've never seen before.
Let me raise the specter of other parts of the world here for a second, of course, calling you from Canada. Let me give you a quick quote here. This I don't think will come as any surprise to you, Gerald. 1980 and 2005 turned out to be the dead zone for middle-class prosperity. During this period, in terms of inflation-adjusted dollars, the median annual salary for a full-time worker rose from $53 a year. It rose up to $41,401. In other words, in all that time, you had about as much money coming back as a dinner out at Olive Garden. I mean, just think about that's people out there. So we've got also this you just described horror situation in the markets and the world financial situation melting in front of our eyes. Tell us a little bit about the baby boomers out there as this big wave is starting to hit the beach.
Oh yeah, they're going to hit the beach like beached whales is the way they're going to hit the beach. They're out of shape. My line about baby boomers is they're going to be as they age, they're going to be deaf from all the loud music they've heard, blind from the macular degeneration that nobody ever teaches us about until we get older, have to deal with elderly loved ones that have it. And they're going to be out of their mind with Alzheimer's and whatever, and all these drugs they've been taking. And I'm not talking about, grass. I'm talking about these prescription drugs that are whacking their brain. So they're going to be deaf, dumb, and out of their mind. And deaf, blind, and out of their mind, excuse me.
Yes.
And they're going to be broke. So there's going to be a lot of very serious problems coming about with the baby boomers, and there's not going to be enough care for them. And in looking at, as you mentioned, median household income in the States is below 1999 levels.